Is CNN senior law enforcement analyst Charles Ramsey. He's the former D.C. chief of police. And Andy Bershad, he is a former NYPD detective and the CEO of Flying Aces Enterprises. Andy, I want to start with you because we're not at CNN playing the audio of the barrage of gunfire of the gunman entering the classroom and shooting the children. It's so awful, that audio. It's chilling. And it's gutting, but I have heard it, and I'm sure you have online as well, because it was released, as you heard, before the families were prepared. And when I hear that audio, I just want to know, I mean, you're somebody who trains police officers, that the gunfire was so constant and it was so rapid. How were police supposed to go into that classroom without being killed? I mean, wouldn't those first 3 officers have been killed if they had gone into that scenario?
Yes, thank you for having me. Obviously, potentially, there's a risk to what we do. I think from observing the video, we have one job, and from watching the video, we have one job that needs to be portrayed out, and there are lives in danger, whether it be children, whether it be adults, whether it be perpetrators, victims, whatever the case. There's an active shooter scene that clearly, from what I saw in the video, was unfolding and multiple levels that were obvious, that made it obvious that there were lives in danger.
But again, are you saying that those first 3 officers on the scene in that hallway should have breached that classroom even during that barrage of gunfire?
Yes. What we do is what we train as we never give up real estate. It appeared to me that one of the officers potentially got injured. It seemed that unknown injuries that what he might have received, but we need to press the fight. If you're involved in a fist fight, if somebody punches you, you're not going to turn around and run away. You kind of go back and you want to punch them back. Now we're dealing with, and knowing that we're at an elementary school where there's children involved, or where there's young victims potentially involved, even more expectated that we need to go in and address the situation.
Yeah, Chief, on that point, and the officers who retreat after the initial approach to the classroom, they don't have the shields and the long guns, the headgear. Listen, everybody on that side of the door had more protection than the students and the teachers inside the room with the shooter. But was there something that they needed that they didn't have?
I don't see any excuse for them doing what they did. I mean, the initial 3 officers that went down the hallway, they did receive some gunfire. They did retreat. I understand that. But you got to regroup and you got to go back. There is absolutely no reason for 77 minutes to elapse before someone decides to go into that building. At 19 minutes, which wasn't shown in the clip that you have there, they actually had officers with shields, with ballistic helmets and so forth in the hallway. Again, with active shooter training, you're taught, and this is all post-Columbine, because that's where we learned a very valuable lesson. You don't contain and wait for SWAT. You have to go in. If it's just one of you, if it's 2 of you, ideally it's 3 or 4, but you do what you have to do to locate the gunman and to stop the threat. I mean, he's in an elementary school. You know you have children at risk. You've heard gunfire taking place. You have to do it. Risk is inherent in the job. And I understand all that, okay? But when it comes time to do it, you got to step up, period. That's just the only way it is. That's what being a police officer is all about. If you have to step up in moments like this, and there's no excuse for what took place in Uvalde, and those families have every right to be upset, both with the reporter, but more importantly, even with the police department there. They let them down. They failed in their responsibilities, period.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Chief, it's so obvious when you see the video. It's so sickening, honestly. But I want to ask you, Chief Ramsey, about that. I'm sure you have wrestled with this very thing, which is the public's right to know versus not re-victimizing the victims' families. And so do you think there was a legitimate reason to release this video yesterday rather than waiting till Sunday? Now, who knows? The officials in Uvalde have engaged in so much doublespeak and stonewalling. Who knows if they would have actually made good on their promise. But do you think that the video had to be released yesterday, or it could have been held till Sunday?
Could have been held, should have been held. I don't think it should have been released without the families at least having an opportunity to see it, period. Even if the reporter called the families in and showed them the video, the families should have seen the video first. If that was your family member, would you want to have somebody send you an email, say, hey, look at this website? And now you hear children screaming, you hear gunshots, you hear all this stuff, and you're not prepared. I mean, there's just no excuse for it, in my opinion. So if you don't trust the government, talking about the reporter, fine. Then guess what? Everybody knows who the families are now. Reach out to them and say, listen, we've got this video. We need to show it to you. I don't say that's the right way of doing it, because they needed counselors there too. But I mean, that's still better than just blindly putting it out there. Okay, he had information. He's trying to get a scoop, and he put it out. That's the only reason he did it. The other stuff's a lot of, you know what, as far as I'm concerned. Those parents should have known.
Yeah, the reporter says that he did reach out, but still, I listened to that mother who says that she didn't want to hear the gunshot. She didn't want to see the whole way. And it's really not been too long since this tragedy happened, and it may take some time for these families to be in a place where they want to see that.
That's why you need psychologists there. You need professionals there to help the family through it, to know what it is they're about to see. I've worked in homicide. We've had to deal with families of homicide victims. Now, in today's age, you've got video oftentimes associated with the homicide, okay? Yeah. And so you have to be careful about how you deal with that sort of thing, because people, I mean, it's emotional. It's incredibly emotional. And you just don't throw it out there.
Chief Ramsey, Andy Bershad, thank you both.